What's going on, world? It's your boy at Big Game James _36. Back after a little bit of a break, a little hiatus. A lot of stuff was going on. Miles was at Comic Con, and then I was giving backpacks and stuff away in Tallahassee. Um, that's just tiring, man. I was tired. I ain't even gonna lie to you. But looked like y'all had fun down in Tampa, man. They were on a boat. Like I don't even know how they got why they were on the boat, but it looked cool. Trey and Kai live lives that I want to live. So like, but this is but to not piss off the sponsors, this is Big Games BS brought to you by alphamalejacks.com. Alphamalejacks.com is the go-to clinic for all of your male performance needs. It's not just about if you like. I think the stigma of this new wave is, basically hitting up old white men whose dick's not working. It's more to that. It's not just that. It's a lot of things aren't as efficient as they used to be. You're tired, you're fatigued, you're trying to work out, you're trying to get back into the swing of things. You need to be able to go get your blood panels checked, which will check all your hormone levels, which will check a lot of other different things. You may not, they check your cholesterol, a lot of other different things, and they look at trends to see, hey, you're trending toward having a stroke. You're trending toward having this or that happen. So that's kind of why you go to alphamalejacks.com. They also have testosterone replacement therapy. They have ways that they can provide estrogen blockers. There's a whole bunch of other different things that they can provide for you. As well as if you want to, there's Dr. G over there with Andrew Mangus, and he can help you with some with some other things. So go check out our sponsor. Make sure you do that inside of. I can't even see. Shit, I want to go to Comic Con. Like I think I want to be not Punisher, similar Bishop. I want to be Bishop from X-Men.
Oh, ooh, that would be great.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I could blonde. I don't know if I could do the dye because the dyeing doesn't always come out right away, and it's too close to football season. I have to be seen. I don't want to, but I do the little thing with the eye, and I like the guns that they have. That was a fight with Trey. Trey went as Deadpool, and who technically isn't anything, but he's more of an X-Man than he is because he did some stuff with X-Men. He's also done some stuff later on with the Avengers. But Trey wanted the actual guns. And I'm like, bro, no. We got to get something that makes them not look like real guns. And the cool thing about Bishop is his gun, I could go get Bishop's gun and not have to worry about that because those guns don't fucking exist.
Yeah,
Like
it's huge. Big rifle.
yeah.
Yeah. So, but,
Um inside
inside of the world's greatest cigar lounge, Goodfellas Cigar.
um
Um,
got
got some stuff.
got
Got some cool things.
found some
Found some Opus
X
X
cigars.
cigars.
So we
So we
got
got
some
some
really, really high end cigars. We can't tell you what we're going to charge for yet because we got to put them in the QR thing. But I went to a place, saw they had Opus, said, let me get your sticks. I said, do you have a minimum? They said no. I said, give me all of them. So now we have it wasn't that much. It was like we have a couple boxes of Opus X. Which, if you know about the cigar, it costs a little bit, but it's good to have it here. Have some high end cigars. What else do I need to? Oh no, the other ones haven't kicked in yet. So first of the month's coming around tomorrow. So make sure y'all got y'all checks and stuff due. Oh, and we're still doing the book bag drive. I'm so happy. Half of my stress is gone. We had some. It was a great time. Major hiccups, but still a great time. But the major hiccups are only, and I had to explain this to the major hiccups are only major to those who know that they're major. So like a lot of people probably didn't even know what the fuck that any of this shit happened, but it all panned out. Food is normally one of the first things there. Our food, the event was started at 9. That's what we advertised. The food truck didn't come until 9:08 to drop off the food. So but luckily we got that. A lot of people were served. Got a really, really benefited from a slow news day in Tallahassee. Got a shit ton of news coverage. I didn't even know there was a Fox news station in Tallahassee. But I was on Fox last night, apparently. WTLX or TXL, whatever the ABC station. The ABC station ran a report on Friday. They ran a report on Saturday. And they ran something on Sunday night, I believe, as well to nicely tie a bow on everything. WCTV was out there. So I had all the news stations in Tallahassee. And so it was great. We had we gave over 1,000 bags, about 600 people fed. Tremendous success. Football camp had about 100 kids registered. Don't think everybody showed up, but we had a good amount of kids. The kids got the little athletic little tie bags, a water bottle. He got a chance to get coached up by Kalen DeLoach, Jerian Jones, Dennis Briggs, Malcolm Ray, Maurice Smith, and Tatum Bethune. I think there's 4 starters for Florida State that came out there and worked at camp, which I thought was pretty cool, pretty genuine. And when I tell you they worked the camp because I didn't do a damn thing. It was hot. If I was sitting there kind of worried, and I gotta make sure I get my P's and Q's together for this camp here in Jacksonville coming up. Because had them boys not showed up, that means I would have had to work. And it was like 1,000 degrees outside, and I would have died. I'm sore right now because of all of that. Also, shout out to my guy Mark Lyles who came in. He worked the camp. He did he did some speed and agility work with the guys. It was dope. I love it. That's what we did with that. I don't know if you have the we had video of this stuff. I just didn't pull it up. Sitting there somewhere. But that's just talking about the camp. They've seen that enough. I think I gave you a video. That's at the tailgate. Nah. Let me just get this part in first. Yeah, we can show that. This is the guys right here we're about to post. Coming up and just working. This will be Kalen, Darius Washington, Jeremiah Byers, and Tatum Bethune might be shown on that too, but I'm not 1,000% sure. Yeah, I need one more. Tatum right there. Actually, you hear me actually giving Tatum a hard time about. I mean, I have on the sweatshirt right now, but this is a lightweight sweatshirt. Tatum got one that definitely you put on after when it's about 60 degrees outside, not when it's like 105 heat index. But it is nice though. I do need to know where he got that from. I need to cop that from him. But those are some. The other thing too is one of the things I learned. I saw I think the picture is in the next one after that. That's the video. Like one of the things my son picked on everybody about at FSU was about how they didn't look like a football team. They kind of looked like a high school team. And I was just like, okay, I can see what he's saying. These guys aren't bigger than me. Well, they're a little bit bigger now. Them boys been eating. Shout out to Coach Storms. That's me to the in the middle. And they all got some height, they all got some size. Obviously, the 2 offensive linemen, you would want those guys to be bigger. But the guy to the left, Byers, is like 325, 330. Darius, I think, is over 300 as well. If you go to the next one, this is when I was just like, oh, okay. These guys got a little bit of these guys got a little size on them. We just got to get Maurice Smith to eat more. That's the one dressed in all black. I don't know if the all black is making him look smaller, but that's our starting center right there. We need him to be a little wider. So, but that's what happened this weekend with those guys. They signed autographs for all the kids. which I thought was cool. FSU doesn't do a signing day anymore like that, a fan day. So like this would have been a great opportunity to come out. But again, this being one of the largest book bag drives of food distributions that you've never heard of, goes into all of that. But y'all will. That's why I always say y'all support everybody else fiscally too. All I ask for you to do is just show up to shit and have a good time for the most part. And we still having a damn this time doing that. What's that? Yeah, man, it was some large guys. And we'll talk about some other things going on with FSU a little bit later. But again, JamesColemanGivesBack.com for the Jacksonville one. Please check that out. Register for the football camp Sunday, 2 to 5 p.m. And for the backpack drive at Long, I forgot where. Anyways, out east, I know that much. But if you go to JamesColemanGivesBack.com, you'll see everything that you need to see in regards to that. I need to grow the page. We need to get to 3,000 subs. We get to 3,000 subs. We will give away 2 tickets to the FSU LSU game in Orlando, Florida. We want to get to 100 members. Keep pushing it. Keep growing it. Tell a friend to tell a friend just to like it. It costs you nothing unless you're a hater. To be able to click, subscribe, and move on from there. We will give away the tickets at the on the live show that we'll do for the game LSU versus FSU. I'll probably have my guy with Power Hour who covers LSU come on that for me. We did that last year, had a great time. Still selling tickets to the tailgate. Everybody else is trying to have a tailgate now, but you already know, fuck them. Ain't none of that shit gonna be as lit as ours. Former players, all you can eat, all you can drink, cigars, the whole nine, parking, anything you want. $60 for the tailgate ticket, and I think it's $100 right now per parking pass in a specific lot. If you want the lot right next to the stadium, it's $200. Just let me know. We'll put those on the that will be on the website here shortly. The ticket tailor is always going to be in the description of this video afterwards, or you can go check out. I think it will be my pinned tweet here very shortly. The prices will go up probably about 2 weeks before the game. Just make sure you check all of that out. If you want to get to the game, it's going to be lit. Plies said he looking to come to the game. We trying to look to get Plies to come to the tailgate. So we had look. You heard of this rapper Lil Tyler? He's from Tallahassee. He's got an interesting sound. He doesn't actually he doesn't really talk about like gang or goon shit. He just talks about like just rapping about getting money and girl, but he's like underage. And it was funny because they still do the double XL freshman class, and he made that. And he was talking about what was he talking about? Oh, if a girl want to get him, he got to bring his mom because he's a minor. And then he talked about shooting somebody up with a chopper. After that, I was just like, that's kind of a hell of a dichotomy there. But it's all the guys like him. It's kind of like the guy Boston Richie, who's also from Tallahassee, but Boston Richie got FAMU in trouble. That was the talk while I was over there too. Everybody's like, "You heard about the Boston Richie video?" I'm like, "Yes." Now, the entire fucking nation knows about the Boston Richie video now, when they didn't have to know about the Boston Richie video. But I digress. What the entire nation knows is, and I've coined this phrase, and I want to make sure there's no confusion. I love Cubans. I love Cuban culture. Very good coffee, very good bread. A good Cuban sandwich is delicious. I don't think y'all make the best arroz con pollo, but you guys got your own things. But in your culture, there are a few, and I'm not talking about your whole culture. I'm just talking about 2 specific guys. Technically 3, but 2 now because one of them is now at Penn State. He's the defensive coordinator. And they just lie. They're lying ass Cubans. I don't know what else to tell you, but the Cubans be lying. And nobody lies quite like the lying ass Cuban John Ruiz. John Ruiz has, been boasting. He's like Daddy Fat Stacks, Mr. Money, Daddy Warbucks, basically trying to finance the entire Miami NIL collective. This time last year was the big bragger and boaster, even during the process of losing. Even in the process of losing, he's telling the fans, just be patient. He's telling their fans that FSU shit is fake, is false, is on a shaky ground. Meanwhile, he has a company. Has anybody seen a Life Wallet commercial? Does anybody fucking know what Life Wallet does? I tell you what Life Wallet does. Life Wallet does absolutely nothing but lose money. It's amazing the things that people who want to be down will accept and listen to without even really doing any research. But we'll go into the whole crux of everything that's going on first, and then I'll just show just some of the parting shots that he had, because he talked about it. People have been wondering why Miami was recruiting at such a high level this time last year, and they're not recruiting at a high level right now. Even one of their better recruits that they committed that nobody thought they were going to get in JoJo saying he's taking all of his visits. But basically, Miami Herald reporting federal and criminal investigations into Life Wallet. John Ruiz's company had a total of $23.4 million in revenue in 2022 and lost $402 million while paying his own law firm $29.7 million. This man paid himself $30 million while making only $23 million in the company that he's he's the principal owner in it. Red flags on top of red flags. They're just, the people are basically just investigating John Ruiz. Meanwhile, John Ruiz is getting floor seats to things. He's telling this, and here's what, and the biggest thing with John Ruiz is that he responds to civilians. And I say civilians, but just regular ass people who ain't a billionaire. If I was a billionaire, I'm not responding to peons, to thousandaires. Matter of fact, I'll be honest with you. Even though Shad Khan cool as shit, but if I was Shad Khan, if you're not making at least $1 million, you can't talk to me. Even the players I'm paying. Like if you're just on contract and you're just like one of my 750,000, like you don't get to communicate with me. When you're worth $1 million, you get to talk. It's not so much for arrogance. It's more so to make life more efficient. Now you can't talk to everybody when you're a billionaire. Hell, it's only like 100 something billionaires anyway. So like he should be talking to billionaires. But a guy said big yikes. They talked about the Miami Hurricanes schedule. They looked at the losses. He circled one in particular, 45-3 loss to FSU. At home. That was a solid ass one. But then they got beat. Ooh, I didn't even realize. Ooh, shit. Has nobody talked about this recently? Miami was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7? In 5 of their 7 losses, the opponent scored over 40 points. They lost to Middle Tennessee State 45-31. They lost to Duke 45-21. Lost to Florida State 45-3. Now this is 3 out of 4. Then you go 4 out of 5. You lost to Clemson 40-10. Then you lost to Pitt 42-16 to end the season at home in front of your mama. That's what happened. And then John Ruiz tweets, this is back in December. John Ruiz is just like, I'll show you. Nah, you're not going. I'm going to show you how. I would be more concerned about the lack of money at FSU for NIL deals. I have the inside track. Make sure promises are kept. Bitch, you just lost $402 million in the business. You make sure your promises are kept. Ingram came out popping. You know, Ingram's a cool cat, but it's just I don't understand how people like this continue to be able to get in business because he's had a shady past before as a lawyer, and people line up to give him more money. John Reese, the brash attorney and entrepreneur, has also become known as the sugar daddy of the University of Miami athletic program, making headlines for his company's sponsorships of star players and bold proposals to build the university a new football stadium. Matter of fact, I could have told y'all he was full of shit when he just started talking about. So, is it Coral Gables High? I think it's they're about to build a new school. Or is it Boca Raton? Anyway, they're building a new school. New schools people don't just wake up and say, I want to build a new school. New schools there's a lot of contingencies around building a school. You build communities around school. And I can tell you one, like the one that's right next, not far from where I live at, Atlantic Coast High School. Atlantic Coast High School is built on 2 plots. There's one plot that's going to eventually put Atlantic Coast Middle School, which is right around the corner from Twin Lakes Middle School. But the area is growing. They're growing it into an area called E-Town. I remember when Kevin Sullivan, who was the head coach at Atlantic Coast, was telling me all of these things. I could not believe him, right? I said, there's no way. I don't see it. There was only one way to get into that school and one way to get out. Now, when you look at E-Town and the development in the community, it is literally, you could just drive right past the high school now into $1 million homes. It is beautiful neighborhood, all these different things. You don't just say, oh, now we're going to put a college stadium there. It doesn't work like that because you ruin everything. Stadiums most stadiums are built in projects because it keeps the property, it keeps the taxes down, it keeps everything down. Like the Jag Stadium ain't built in the nicest part. The only place where I think that isn't true, and it's only nice now, is where the Patriots play, but they built up everything around that. It's not in Boston city limits like where everybody feels because you couldn't get that shit.
And there's nothing really there. So it's not a bad neighborhood. It wasn't a good neighborhood.
Same thing with where the Cowboys play. The Cowboys are out in an area that's literally just for the stadium. It's hard. This guy had put all kinds of plans. They drew what do you call them? Figures. And it just didn't make any sense. Listen, man. I do not want. That's one group of people I don't want after me. There's people. There are and what's crazy is there was a Spaces a few months ago, and one of the players from Miami's dad, one of their better players, was talking, and he was just like how, he doesn't know about what's going on. His son hadn't heard from anybody in Life Wallet about. So sometimes these NIL deals. So there's multiple ways to work it. Most of the NIL deals are 1-year contracts with the opportunity to move forward. So they're not like a 4-year deal. So like when you're hearing these guys are getting $1.3 million, guys, I want y'all to step back and just listen to yourselves for a second. What high school kid do you know is worth $1.3 million? Now, what that high school kid might have been promised was $250,000 over 4 years. I mean, a year minimum. So like which those things will go up if they perform well. That's how it goes. But Ruiz has these kids on these 1-year contracts, and they're thinking they're going to get that money next year. I also heard about a lot of guys not really getting their money paid on time. The money was funny. It always has been. You have a lying-ass Cuban that's in charge of your NIL. You got a lying-ass Cuban that's in charge of your football team. You had a lying-ass Cuban who didn't even speak Spanish. One of the things I will say about most Cubans is most Cubans going to make sure they speak Spanish. Warren Sapp came over there and said that's when he knew Manny Diaz wasn't the guy, is when he went over there and he said some Spanish words to him and he didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. But that's enough of them. If you weren't on this planet last weekend, Saturday, there was a fight that's been anticipated for a while. And it was crazy. Bud Crawford, who I kind of like, because the last fight I saw Bud Crawford do, You know, everybody has entourages, right? But Crawford had nobody with him the last fight, and just played Tupac music. It was just walking down. Or no, it was DMX. It was just walking to the ring, and I was like, yeah, he finna kill this motherfucker. No, I don't even remember. It might have been. I think it might have been. No, it wasn't Get At Me, Dog. I think it was What's My Name. But Bud Crawford and Errol Spence fought. And they've been waiting for this fight for quite some time. It's been anticipated. There was a lot of things, and this is to unify some belts. And Spence is a really, really good boxer. A little more flashy, a little bit more showy. Bud is like more meat and potatoes, no nonsense type guy. Bud Crawford beat the fuck out of Errol Spence. Basically, he made Errol Spence look like this. You see Martin, and you remember when Martin fought, I think it was Hagler. And like, it's all jokes aside, hold on, let me see if I can find it. I think I have the picture. I didn't tweet it. Like, he kind of really did look like that. Where's my like Errol Spence isn't necessarily light skinned. He's got a lot of tattoos, so you don't really know. But like, this is what it looked like. And that was during the fight. The fight wasn't over yet. So, but I learned more about Bud Crawford. You know, you learn about people in these fights, man. And I tweeted what I learned after I learned it. And my guy T-Wig, who I love, man, love T-Wig to death. And you know, he's very analytical. One, I was kind of being facetious. I was joking a little bit. And Bud Crawford's story would make me not enter the ring. One, his name is Bud. He's from Nebraska. He's the illest N-word in Nebraska, like from Belly. Like, is this showing right here? Bud doesn't have any real friends, it looks like. But the biggest thing is that Bud got shot in the head. Drove himself to the hospital, where all they did was they took the bullet out, put some stitches in his head, and then sent him about his way. And I said that, and somebody's like, well, everybody got a story. You know, Tyson had a story, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yes, everybody has a story. But not everybody eating fucking bullets to the face, man. 50 Cent got us. Every rapper has a story, but then there's fucking 50 Cent. We got shot 9 times and lived. Once in the face. You typically have that happen. Like anybody, you're in a sport where you punch people in the head, right? And you're looking to do damage. What damage can my fist do to somebody's face that a bullet couldn't do? Like, if a bullet didn't stop this motherfucker, goddamn it, I don't think I'm stopping him until he gets into his 40s and 50s. Like, this is no disrespect to Errol Spence. I know he probably at the end of the day, he couldn't duck this fight anymore. He had to take it. And what's sad about it is it was such a thorough ass whooping that I don't want to watch a rematch. I don't want to waste my time. I've seen this before. It wasn't like they went, like, he was playing around with him. He could have killed this man. It was bad. And this is when people argue and say boxing is dead. And it's not. It's still more popular than MMA. I like MMA now, some of the fights. But the guys ain't getting paid no money. But I don't want to overlook the fact that this motherfucker got shot in the face, in the head, drove himself to the hospital, and then just like, that's taking it like a G. But this is basically what happened. If you didn't watch the fight, I could summarize it for you so you don't waste a good hour of your life. But even though this guy gets on my nerves now because I think he's running out of source material, but if you want to know what the fight was like, this is the aftermath. This is what had to be when he went back into the car with his camp. This is what had to look like.
You ready, bro?
Desi's looking at himself after he got in the fight, and you get in the car with your homeboys.
Yeah. I'm straight.
After you done caught an L.
Figures out.
And what's the wildest part about boxing and football too, any sport, is the boxing is different because it's just two individuals. And what happened in this fight, it was like you saw Spence knew he had nothing for him. And he was trying, but he knew nothing was working. And everything Bud was doing, it was just a long night. And then they made that man do an interview right afterwards. Like, do you think dropping down to such a lower weight class affected you? And like, but like a G just said, nah, man, the man just whooped my ass. Well, he didn't say that, but that was the summation of he just whooped my ass. While we got you guys here, please go click the like, go mash the like button, guys. If you can, make sure we get this up. Get into the NFL season. Training camp started last week for most teams, and one of our division rivals with the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Indianapolis Colts, they have one of the wildest fucking owners of all time in Jim Irsay. Somebody said, will Jim Irsay be the guy that they get to try to sell the team? I doubt it. They don't give a damn what Jim Irsay says. He's just saying what a lot of these guys are thinking out loud. The Colts starting running back, Jonathan Taylor, who was pretty good, has threatened to hold out because of, disparity in pay, things of that nature. They kind of, if anything right now, you want to have as many weapons around your young rookie quarterback or your first-year guy, because Gardner, both guys, Denny Thompson trains, so Denny's winning either way. Whether Gardner Minshew starts off the season or Anthony Richardson starts, having a solid running back would definitely help ease some of the burden and some of the things that they got to transition and deal with. But Coach owner Jim Irsay basically just said this shit ain't happening. If I die tonight and Jonathan Taylor is out of the league, no one's going to miss us. The league goes on. We know that. The National Football League rolls on. It doesn't matter who comes and who goes. It's a privilege to be a part of it.
That's so slick. He added the if I die tonight to add himself to
Yeah.
when really it's just a shot at.
It's really like, bitch, nobody give a fuck about you.
Yeah.
Like, that's like, it's one of the, could that be, because that's considered passive aggressive? But again, when you're a billionaire, why? What's the purpose of being passive aggressive? Bitch, I can find a running back tomorrow. That's what I would tell him. Jim Irsay, like, why would Jim Irsay start mincing words? Here's how powerful Jim Irsay is. Jim Irsay was caught with $20,000 cash, some pills, a brick of Colombian Bam Bam, and he was drunk. And the NFL just suspended him for like a month. That's enough to get a player kicked out the league. And Jim Irsay, every other year he says some shit borderline racist. I just love that. He should just say, man, fuck him. Like, I don't need this motherfucker.
I could die tonight, but really.
Like, basically, I thought what would have been colder is I could die tonight. People gonna care. I die tonight is national news because people want to know who's going to own the Colts. You'll be out of the league next year, son. Who the fuck cares? That's why when people say shit like they should honor their contracts and it's a privilege to play, man, get the fuck, bitch. This is business. You see what your boss just said? Bitch, Like it would have been, I could die tonight and you ain't getting the pay raise. But just just keep it with the NFL trend as we move on to some other stuff. Hold on. Oh. What time is it? Oh, we got about 20 minutes. Shit, motherfucker said I could die tonight. And you ain't good positive note for the people who are in the comment section who always roast me. Travis Rudolph just got picked up by the XFL, the XFL Guardians. It's good to see his life getting picked back together after that bitch tried to destroy it. Let you know that you can kill, like you get two bodies, and you can, or actually, was it two bodies or one body? He has on him. I don't know. He killed enough. He shot out. He let out the chopper, and your life can still move forward. Where are we at? It's more NFL news. Oh, I gotta show this video right here, Miles. This shit is clean. This might be one of the coldest routes I've ever seen. And it's like if he ever did this in a game, it would make the internet go nuts. Still, internet went nuts. Oh, for a bit. But Kansas City, training camp. There's a video gone viral. Hell of a catch. Would have been routine. You just gotta look at it. Is it showing? All right. It's you gotta make sure you're looking at them so that you can notice how cold this is. I don't even want them to put this in the video. This is so cold that they're liable to put this in the damn video game. Let's see what this looks like. Let y'all see this. Running a route, get off the jam, stops. But now, did you see what he did with his hands? Boom, boom. Nice move there. That stop. Wipes his hands on the gun. Behind the back, wipe the hand. Boom, boom. Wipe the hand on the towel. Catch. Make sure you get, because you can. What's worse is having sweaty. He didn't touch this person. It's all sweaty. Got to make sure he gets that. That is like, how do you have enough time to do that? Like, and everybody's like, that's a push off. Man, that shit wasn't no push off. But then I guess Justin Ross did that in college. But you normally don't see these kind of things. But moving forward off of that, still cold. NFL, again, get your bread, guys. Get your paper up, because nothing means anything. The Green Bay Packers, just click on that video. They really I'm not video, that picture. They wished this young man a happy birthday. Jonathan Garvin. That's really nice. Smile, it's your birthday. Smile like a pro. Invisalign. The guy got his dreads. Good hairline there. They told this man happy birthday in the morning. You know what they did 3 hours later?
No.
They cut his ass 3 hours later. It's just, again, man, Chris Brown had a great song, but he was talking about women. There's a lot of truth in the song. These hoes ain't loyal. But you know who's less loyal than hoes? These coaches and these NFL owners. They treat you like the hoes treat you, man. So, like, unfortunately, man, don't overdose on being famous, because you never know. It's a fleeting moment, unless you're rich, unless you're a billionaire. FSU had a huge recruiting weekend. It started off with Charles Lester III, 5-star corner, being basically having fun with recruiting. Everybody thought he was maybe going to Colorado. He was trolling us with Deion. Looks like actually he almost did the reverse Travis Hunter. He trolled Deion and he committed to Florida State. Still got to recruit him, but right now things are looking really, really good and trending in the right direction. I remember a lot of Colorado fans were going on my guy Chris's Sporadic show and just saying shit like, well, he's going to college. He's a lock to Colorado. He's a lock here. No. Even though I will say this, Charles Lester that boy, you know how they say black people have this saying, he been here before. Charles Lester been here before. That motherfucker dressed like stereotypical old uncles at family reunions. To the necklace, like I know he smelled like Issa Miyake or Juke. Like he's wearing Old Spice, which is still funny to me. My son, I don't know where my son got this idea that I guess it just feels like men are supposed to wear Old Spice. I'm like, Daddy doesn't wear Old Spice. I don't want to go around smelling spicy and shit. But I guess it's a kid. They do a really good job of marketing, and it just feels like that's the first. I think that might have been the first deodorant that I used to tell my mom to get me to until I realized I just need that shit to be efficient. Oh man, I remember Axe came out. Axe came out when I was in high school, and they had the greatest marketing campaign ever. Like guys was literally going shh, shh, and thinking that girls are gonna magically appear out of nowhere. And I'm like, yo, this shit smells awful. But he after that they flipped the offensive lineman from USC Manassas something. I don't know. Then after that, we had a linebacker commit who's actually really good. If FSU fans can get over the 3-star part, you'll realize that he's actually not a bad player. JoJo Trader, who committed to the U, basically made a statement that he's Kiki Palmering his recruitment. What do you mean by that, James? What I mean by that is he says keeping his options open. He's taken, but he's going to go to an Usher concert dressed with his ass all out. So basically, he's going to take visits, even though he's committed to the University of Miami, which means he's probably not going to end up at the University of Miami. Nobody wants to go and be beat unmercifully week in and week out. So y'all, until y'all get y'all shit together, that's what y'all got to deal with. This is Charles Lester right here. We can show that. That's just the big guy. Florida State is now ranked, I believe, 7th in one publication, 6th in another one. They have a top 10 class. If they're to have luck this week and land a KJ Bolden and another player that a lot of people are trending toward Florida State, potentially flipping, Florida State could possibly go into fall camp or go into the season with the number 2 rated overall class. The player that I'm specifically talking about is a guy by the name of Jeremiah Smith, who is currently committed to The Ohio State University. Jeremiah Smith went on wax and said something that I personally believe is a little bit out of pocket. I don't think he's earned that yet, but I think he's not far from this. Actually, the video. Yeah, no, that's JoJo. That's his homeboy. Now we're gonna play that after this one. So this is Jeremiah Smith, number 1 wide receiver in the nation. Everybody just thinks he is the next guy up. So what's Jeremiah have to say about the staff and his thoughts on Miguel Norvell?
Summer, why'd you kind of choose to come back yet again?
Really just to, have a great time with Coach Mike Norvell. Really, he's probably the best head coach, probably is the best head coach in college football.
Summer, why'd you kind of choose
That's a hell of a statement.
Really just.
He said Mike Norvell Mike Norvell probably is the best head coach in college football. That's a bit, I'm with Mike. I like Mike. Best ever. It's a bit much. So, but at the same time, that's what this young man felt. This is what the recruits are feeling. I told somebody, I went over there in Tallahassee. I saw Luke Cromahawk. He came by the hotel. I would say what's up. Shout out to the major respect to that family. He just the way that they're talking, it just feels different over there. I don't know what else to say, but one of the movies that I really enjoy is Class Act. And I think if people want to know what it was like for me growing up in high school, when I got to high school, everybody in my neighborhood told me I no longer had to fight. They needed me to get to college. Nobody wanted me to go to jail. Nobody wanted me to be arrested. So I was like Duncan Penderhughes in the movie Class Act. But what happened was I make a phone call and my people get you. And this is basically Class Act. Duncan Penderhughes was acting like Blade Brown, which is the character who was supposed to be a thug. And Blade, they got him confused. So Blade, in order to not ruin his rep, he needed Duncan to be whipping ass. So he had his homeboys come in and they would fight anytime, and they would shadow Duncan to make sure something didn't happen. Basically, this is what happened. They're saying Mike Norvell is Duncan Penderhughes and his staff is Blade Brown, and this is what they did to Deion Sanders. So they got these little apps where you can just put little movies and shit, and they'll put people's heads and faces on them. That I think is great. I should have put it in there when with the Harlem Nights when the guy shot the girl in the pinky toe. That's what I think. Oh, I'm actually, you know what? I am going to do that. I got the video. I got to figure this out. But go and push. Got started from the beginning, but push play on it. The movies in the early 90s was just so much better.
Merry Christmas. I'm gonna take you.
And those are two assistant coaches that stuff the guys in the back to take care of Mike.
Don't I know?
And that's basically what happened. Great summation of what happened this past weekend for FSU recruiting. Yeah, meanwhile, Florida's got guys over there doing dance. They're doing dance revolution parties and shit. Like that's just weird. Just all around weird. I think somebody lost the commit. I think we're supposed to be pulling a commit from Miami as well. Also, one of the things that I've been saying for quite some time is that Florida State's is leaving the ACC, and I've been saying this for a minute. Anybody who's been in the lawsuit knows that contracts are meant to be broken, but now everybody is going with this. Florida State approved the loan. Got the process to be able to approve the loan. There should be some big news, possibly, if not tomorrow, sometime before August 15th. I believe FSU is notifying the ACC that they're leaving. They may not notify that they're going to the Big Ten, but the rumors are now that Oregon, Stanford, FSU, and Clemson are leaving to go to the Big Ten. Personally, I don't believe Florida State goes to the Big Ten without Miami, and Clemson doesn't really necessarily meet other qualities that the Big Ten typically has outside of just being good in football. But I think this is a move that basically just makes sure Florida State's, the university's fiscal future, it enhances and it helps keep us out. The biggest thing is that what people need to realize, and I've been telling you this, and this wasn't told, I didn't make up this idea. I was told this by somebody in administration years ago. Florida State is trying to compete and beat the University of Florida in every aspect of life, from cornhole to academics to football to whatever it is. We want to whoop their ass in every aspect. And I think that's the whole reason behind this move. We cannot have a $35 million deficit every year, which is basically the difference between what Florida makes in their TV deal and what Florida State makes in their TV deal with the ACC. So it's better to pay the ACC that and for what we're going to make in with the Big Ten than to just do that. And I think they're saying that there's potentially going to be a multi-year buyout in terms of that. So yeah. Big Ten. It's just people don't know. There's a Big Ten alumni network. Like, there's just so much synergy in working with the Big Ten. What does that say on the clock? How much time we been on? 50. All right, yeah. So it's like so much just benefits of getting into the Big Ten than just even the TV contracts. So more news should be coming like this. Ole Miss got a guy to finish up recruiting. Ole Miss got a new guy that came in, transfer portal, giving them. They got a talented linebacker, former 4-star linebacker, was at Clemson University. See if I can find this. Yeah, he was a 4-star recruit, class of 2022. So he's relatively new. What does it say? Yep. Been saying it. Been saying it. And Jim, you're not wrong. Clemson linebacker transfer TJ Dudley has committed to Ole Miss. He was a 4-star recruit in the class of 2022. They announced it. He's been at Clemson for 2. He was a freshman in 2022. He entered the portal. Dabo Swinney said it was a disappointing situation because he's a good kid and man, he had a chance to be a great player for us this year. So it definitely hurts us. It's unfortunate, but we've got rules, and sometimes it's just best to get a fresh start. So we wish him well. He's from Alabama. He was a 293rd ranked player in the country, 32 linebacker in the nation. And why? What rules did he break? What could have been so bad that Dabo says it was an unfortunate situation and he could have been a player for us? BeatingTheBookie.com reports that TJ Dudley sold pictures via OnlyFans. That's not the worst. Jeez, that's loud. Of unsuspecting teammates in the Clemson locker room. He sold pictures of his teammates' dicks in the locker room on OnlyFans. It didn't go well with the team when they found out. He was then dismissed.
I mean, it didn't go well. I got to. That's your ass.
Clemson does, and this guy Athens, Clemson, one of the weirdest schools on the planet. Dabo's brothers are raging pedophile, and now you've got this. This should be at a Big Ten school with a sexual deviancy. So what does Ole Miss pick up this year? They pick up a sexual assaulter, a homosexual that's taken a voyeur, and it's just wild, man. Just college football gets wilder every year, and they're worried about the fucking NIL. Like, I don't want a teammate who's over here just sneaking pics from a thing and then putting it on. But this is the wild part is that us men don't take kindly to this, but this happens to women all the time, I believe. I would ban him. Like, that should be illegal. But like, I wouldn't want him in my locker room if I know that's what he's doing, man. Like, I don't want no certified weirdos around me. I believe it. Well, yeah, I believe that. So, lastly, I'm a LeBron James fan. Not of just the basketball, just of him as a man. LeBron James made this I Promise school, and he has his own nonprofit that gives scholarships to kids in Akron public schools to be able to make sure that they can go do whatever they want. Like, the man is just a public servant. Daily Loud reported first, the Akron Public School Board members are outraged with LeBron James' I Promise school in Akron after it was reported that the school hasn't had one student from its 8th grade class pass a state math test in over 3 years. Basically, if you read that in the trolls that were coming out, it's basically LeBron James got a bunch of dummies over there. They ain't teaching them. One of the funniest memes in this, and I'm a guy who can laugh at stuff that's funny. They posted that his principal is the principal from what's the TV show Abbott Elementary. And if you've watched Abbott Elementary, you know that principal does absolutely nothing at that school. And while I know LeBron James isn't involved in the day-to-day nuances of what happens at a school and every business, but when your name is on something and it looks like this is isn't particularly a great look. And people are trying to find a way to put a dent in the armor, and which is his name. The problem is, with everything, there's probably a click or two that can give you more context. 2 of the years were under COVID regulations, and many schools had the option to opt out of those scores to continue receiving additional funding. The 3rd year was the first year back after COVID, and thousands of schools fell behind state regulations. LeBron James' school doesn't need the funding, but the scores were still public. They're isolating his school like it's failing the children when in fact his school has done more for the Akron Public School District in 10 years than in its entire in 10 years than in its entire existence. The school board has been hunting for a reason to shut LeBron's school down because they can't compete with the overall high result pipeline from middle school to college. Haters are going to hate. And none of the I Promise School students are old enough to have matriculated to college yet. The founding class is now in 8th grade. The students you hear about going to college with LeBron's support are affiliated with his foundation, but they don't attend. They attend Akron Public Schools. So basically, the students are doing well. They're competing, but LeBron doesn't need your money. And he doesn't need your money, so you have to find and students are money. Students are capital in the public school system. So in order for them to get the capital, for every kid that goes to his I Promise Academy, that's one less kid that's going to another public school. That's one less, whatever, $20,000 annual voucher or whatever it is that they want to put in toward that. And so you have to kind of go and besmirch it, which I'm pretty sure he's not getting the creme de la creme. He's trying, because from my understanding, he's trying to find those kids who are struggling so that he can come in, pour into them. They're no longer struggling anymore. They're doing the best that they could possibly do. One thing I never understood is that when we see people trying to do great things, regardless, it could literally be a sham. It could be a shell. But we know he's legitimately trying to do some good things to impact the community in a positive way. We look for reasons to think that. We look for reasons to be negative. What did it say? Is charter? Oh, charter's better than public. As a guy, I went to a public elementary school, went to a charter middle school, and Florida High is a charter school. It's only better because it's just like private schools. You can literally bring in who the fuck you want to bring in. Like, you don't have to bring in the bad people. Public schools have to take what they get. There is no way around it. I think every school, from my experience as a kid with a parent that was somewhat active, because she couldn't be too active because she has a job, and as a parent who is very active, your child's education is as great as your involvement in it. If you're not helping them take the test, if you're not doing 4 + 4 = what? When they say it wrong, like, you got to yell at them, like the threat of violence always makes the answer come out right for some reason. Like, your kid's going to struggle. Like, if you're not doing the stuff, you literally are going to be doing the work with your child. It's kind of how it works. As I sit at the table, I'm grading homework, I'm doing the shit. I don't really feel like doing the shit. And some of it I realize, man, damn, maybe I'm not as smart as I think I am. But if you don't, like, this is why I say the things that I say about education and I know a lot of y'all just regurgitate shit. They're teaching our kids about homosexuality. Where? Show me the sheet of paper that you've seen. You have to sign off on this shit. Show me what you've seen. I want to see it. I want to benefit. Because again, if they're teaching my kid about lesbians, I want to be in school that day. And I haven't seen any of it. Unfortunately, they promised me that kids from kindergarten to 4th grade were learning this, and I got a kid going into 5th grade. Now, luckily, Killer's coming back through it, so I may have another chance to learn this. They're saying they're learning about a critical race theory, which lets me know a lot of y'all don't know what critical. Something I want to encourage people to start doing. If there's something that you don't like, don't listen to somebody else's reason for you to not like it. I challenge my son's godfather, who's a politician, and he's a true conservative. And we're picking a book a month that we have to read. And so I picked the book to challenge him, because he didn't like the 16. He was saying, I don't like the 1619 project. It's a liberal thing. I said, have you read the book? He said, no. I said, so you don't even know what you don't like. And he said, that's a valid point. I said, so we'll read this book together, and we'll come up with our own points to it. In reading it, I understand why some white people don't like it. And it's not because it's false or it's a liberal ideology or it's a liberal thought process. It's all of this stuff is factual so far in it. It's just really like you'll be like, yo, y'all ancestors was wild as fuck. But it also challenges a black person, like, why the fuck didn't they just fight back more? Like, not that they didn't, but we outnumbered them in a lot of states. That being said, a lot of people don't know why they don't like something. They just hear somebody else and they want an opportunity to be angry too. And what you got to do is just so again, it's not that charter schools aren't good. I agree with you. I just think it's an unfair metric because charter schools you have to apply for a charter school. Public schools ain't no applying. Like my public school is probably better than most that are around the corner from my house, but we live in an affluent neighborhood. But anyway, nevertheless, I digress. When you see somebody trying to do the right things, like for example, my book bag drives without, don't try to hinder it. You ain't got to help, but don't hinder. And like we see, this ain't like the Prime Academy where Deion Sanders tried to make his school and that bitch was failing and he made all these promises. LeBron hasn't, this isn't a basketball academy. This isn't anything. The only thing he's trying to do is give some kids a better opportunity that wouldn't normally get it. And I think we should all we would all be better if we tried to do a little bit more good on a day-to-day basis. Anyways, man, long layoff. Wednesday, we'll probably have some, I have some training camp updates and stuff like that as I'll go out there tomorrow. Hopefully I'll go out there Wednesday, but I definitely go out there tomorrow on Thursday to check some things out. Appreciate you guys for coming around, chopping it up with me. Let's get these likes up. Football season's coming around. Let me know some things that you would like to hear about or see about, some topics. I'm all for it, man. Want to make this the best channel, one of the most fun channels that you could be a part of. Subscribe, consider becoming a member. All right, other than that, appreciate y'all chopping it up with me. I'll see you guys next week.